suppose you can't find a good spiritual guide. Could that happen? So most of the time, it's not that the person can't, but again, shame and guilt get in their way, they don't want to. How would you find a good spiritual guide, the right rabbi, the right mentor, the right Rebbetzin? How would you find that?
Being involved in different synagogues or temples or
Okay. Okay, so one is observation, and the other is recommendation, just like with doctors. So in the observant community, if you ask someone, like, who do you talk to? We need to go to someone to talk it over. That would say, I'm perfect, so I wouldn't know because I've never had any need to talk anything over. But if you're sick, stupid, idiotic, okay, that is what's going to happen. They'll tell you, how about this one, how about that one? Okay, clear? But let's say it's not going to happen. Either geographically you're not where anybody is, you live in Utah, or just Utah is such a bizarre place. I can't even tell you. It's like, it's extreme, mucho strange, but in any case, or you're just not going to go. It's not going to happen. You know you should, but you're not. So at this point, Rambam, who we're quoting, gives you a digression into what he would call, if he used today's vocabulary, which he doesn't, spiritual first aid. Now, if you're not going to go to a professional, don't bleed to death, here's what you could do. But your expectations should be modified. If a person is truly ill and they just go to somebody who went to a first aid course, they may or may not get a good result. So here are the rules for if you're working with yourself, by yourself, and you're unwilling to go to anyone. Okay. First thing, when you go to someone, they're going to help you work from the inside out. They're going to help you find out what's happening on the inside and then give you a way of healing it. If you're working with yourself, by yourself, you have to work from the outside in. It'll be too painful, too blame-orienting, too difficult to really know your inside. If you're in escapism, you're not going to want to look at your inside. If you're in denial, you're not going to work in your inside. So how do you work from the outside in? So the basic rule is what? Do it until it's real. Okay, clear? Fake it till you make it. What do you fake? What do you make? So there are two traits that tend to be the ones that are the most powerful ones when it comes to personal self-destruction. Those traits are anger and arrogance. So if you don't even know where your escapism is coming from, you don't want to know, you don't know and you don't want to know, you're not going for help. You don't know why you need to escape so much. Odds are there's something you're really angry at, or your need to feel superior is outside your control. That makes sense to you? So if you were working with someone, you would get to the root of your anger. If you're working by yourself, don't go there. It'll just take you to blaming or to guilt. You work from the outside in, which means you don't act angry, but rather you deal with things as though you're not angry, and at some point you'll be able to trust yourself enough to move further inward. So I want to give you first a bad example and then a good example. It used to be very stylish in psychology, thank God they stopped this, to tell people never to repress their feelings. Okay? So when I was growing up, I lived in Brooklyn, as I told you. I lived near a very large hospital called Kings County Hospital. It had a big psychiatric branch. So in order to train the psychologists, the psychiatrists, they offered free treatment to the people who lived in the hood. Okay, got this? Never, ever, ever trust somebody who doesn't know what they're doing with your head. Got it? Okay, so there was a woman on the block, okay? Was she the happiest person? I wouldn't say she was like a happy camper, but she was functional. Yeah, she had relationships with people, she had a job, she was functional. So she went to be treated. They told her that she has a lot of unexpressed anger and fear, and that the way for her to really be happy is to let people know what she's really thinking and feeling. Okay, what do you think the end of that story was? Okay, 2 years down the line, no marriage, no relationship with her kids, and no job. Okay, so this was what we would call ineffective therapy. Okay. So, and her anger, of course, got progressively worse because the more you hear yourself saying angry things, the angrier you become. So I want to illustrate this to you. Let's say you're married, okay? And your husband is a bit of a mess. He's just not a neat person. Is that possible? Could he be a reasonably good person, happy person, spiritual, directed, focused, intelligent, sensitive, kind, and be not neat? Is that okay? But it irritates you. So like every morning, it's the same story. You get out of bed, and what do you find yourself doing? Picking up all of his clothes from yesterday, okay? And it's annoying, okay? So suppose this is how you're into expressing anger. So you say, you know, I'm not your maid. So what's his line? I'm sorry, I'll pick it up. I'll pick it up, okay? I'll pick it up. Because he doesn't like being spoken to in that tone. So he picks it up grudgingly and throws it in the hamper. But you want to express yourself. You say, you know, like doing me this huge favor, like picking up your own underwear, socks, and shirt, like big deal, like I shouldn't have to talk about it. So what's he going to say? So don't. Okay, clear? Okay. You know, I'm not like your mother. I'm not going to be treated the way your father treated your mother. Now, what is he going to say? Shut your... Okay, whatever. Now we're all the way up. You could see this. You can get it even more. You can go far with this one. Okay? But here's what you won't hear ever. Okay, you're right. I really should pick up my own clothes. I mean, this is ridiculous. I'm an adult. You're not going to hear that, right? Okay. So suppose you said the same thing in a different tone of voice. It bothers me to pick your clothes up. It makes me feel not good about myself. What's going to happen next? He'll empathize. I'm so sorry. You're right. Okay. Pick it up, throw it in the hamper, and okay, got this? So when you express anger, you always make things worse. You get angrier, and the person who you're trying to change also gets angrier. Even if they don't get angrier, you definitely will get angrier because you believe what you say. Okay, clear? So soon it's not about your husband and its laundry. It's about all women against living in a patriarchal society. Which, you know. Okay, clear? Yeah?
Also, when you express anger, and I think a lot of it has to do with sending the message through, right? So like when someone, you know, it really hurts me, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, and he puts it away, you feel like he got the message. But if you say it in an angry way and you're just trying to like tell him to read between the lines, kind of say like, oh, I hate to do that, why do you make me do this?
Yeah.
And he does it, you don't feel like the message went through and you don't feel like he understood you. That's where you get more heated up and you have to talk more about it.
Right.
And it goes in a whole spiral effect.
Right. Now let's say you don't get the effect you want. So the angry example, did she get him to commit to being more neat? No. Okay. Let's say in the more respectful example, she still doesn't get him to be more neat. So at the moment, he'll pick up his stuff, but the next morning it's on the floor again. Okay, clear? So if she's still working from the outside in, she's going to say, you know, I know it's only laundry. Could you pick it up? Will he pick it up? Yeah. Okay. She's still going to hold on to this, that it's communication between adults. If she ended it last time with, I'm not going to be like your mother, okay. Again, okay. She's not going to get him to say, you're right, I really, you know, this is not going to happen ever. So the more she sees herself maintaining her calmness in the face of the situation, whether it resolves or not, the more she'll trust herself. Okay, this is clear? The less angry she'll be because at some point she's going to realize it's only laundry. Okay, clear? With arrogance, it's harder because we really can't start this today. Okay, I'll just start it. Okay, very briefly. The more you could prove to yourself that whether other people applaud you or not, you're okay, the less you'll need their applause, and the less you're going to have to do all of the things that arrogant people do. Do you understand what I mean by this? The more you could act out in a way that demonstrates you don't need other people's applause. Okay, you don't need your professional title on your door, you don't need people, like you don't need any of this. You could function without it. The more you'll believe you're okay, whether or not people applaud you. And the more your deeper issue of self-esteem will heal itself. Okay, so that's it for today.